This is approximately where the car would have stopped, and I know this from looking at pictures of the scene. And to us, it looked like the car just came southbound on Ivan Avenue, and it came to rest here with the engine running, the headlights on, and there was a citizen driving by. This is about 3 o'clock in the morning, and he sees the vehicle and he thinks it's a drunk driver, calls the police. Uniform officer arrives, notices that the driver is slumped in the driver's seat, and when he couldn't awaken the driver, that's when he realized that the driver had passed away. But there was very little blood. There was no knife at the scene, so it took a while to figure out what happened. Emil Uiuiu, he was, I believe from my memory, he was 25 years old. He was an immigrant to Canada. He had been here, I believe, 5 years or so. He had a girlfriend. She was actually quite helpful with us. In fact, she was the one that helped us identify the knife. We thought we knew where the knife came from because it was she had given him a set of steak knives or a set of cooking knives, and a large knife was missing from that collection. And several years later, Ms. Bomberry, who was eventually charged, pled guilty to manslaughter, and at that proceeding, she said basically what we had suspected, that he had followed her after they had had an argument in his apartment, and he followed her. She grabbed the knife for protection, and the altercation happened somewhere on the street here. He became aggressive in the car, so that's when she stabbed him, and she ran out of the car and took the knife with her. He had been out partying with a friend of his, and he borrowed money from the friend, and he told the friend it was to get the services of a sex worker. When we went to do the post-mortem, we found that he still had a condom on. So we found DNA on the condom, under his fingernails. Those days it was standard. All the DNA that was collected would be sent to the Center of Forensic Sciences. In this particular case, we had no suspects. We had no idea, other than a sex worker. The DNA came back. Her name was Kristen Bomberry. It turned out she had been convicted of some type of a violent crime prior to that, and the judge had ordered DNA. So that case was going to be a problem. When you have very few witnesses, and it happens so late at night, where do you begin to look? Even suspecting that it was a sex case, a sex worker, it was going to be difficult to narrow it down to an individual. So the DNA, I believe, definitely sped up the resolution to the case, and we may never have solved it if it hadn't been for the DNA.